Hi, everybody. I'm Marva, and thank you so much for joining our group. So, I think that you're here to start living the life that you were born to live in spite of all that you've gone through. We're all dealing with issues around narcissistic mothers, and some may be other than narcissistic mothers. It might be narcissistic fathers, and you're in this group anyway, and that's okay. The narcissistic person in my life is my mother. And I went through all kinds of things with her, and I was always the mother. She was the daughter. I always took care of her. I had to take care of her. She was the most important thing in her life and in my life. And I'm not talking about just as a child. I was way grown and I was still doing that behavior. I was taking care of her. She was the child and I was the mother ever since I can remember. And I never had a life where I wasn't taking care of her. So at some point, I started doing things to help myself, to make myself better. And I went through a lot of trial and error, therapy, self help, spiritual work over the years. And after all of that working and trying, I was still falling into the same trap, still, still falling into that same trap. Even after my hair was gray, I was still falling into that trap. Um, then I finally found a way to clear myself of all the negativity that I had taken on over the years. And I was full of it. I was full of anger. I was full of frustration. I was just full of it. So I'm hoping that what I experienced can be a part of your healing and your moving on to living the life you were born to live. And this group is about getting your best life. We've all lived through the horror stories. We no longer need to tell and retell the horror stories because we know them by heart. So does everybody around us who would listen, but many people would not listen because, after all, she's your mother. But now it's time to walk in your brand of freedom. Even though she is your mother or he is your father, if that's the case, you no longer have to feel guilty for standing up for yourself. You no longer have to be guilty for being on your side. So I make this short. Feel free to post where you are in your recovery journey. Ask questions that you have on your mind about recovering. Ask any question that you want, anything that's troubling you about the recovery process, because we know how to be in that other process. But recovery is new. Check into the group regularly. New posts are up daily, and I'm looking forward to interacting with everyone. Thank you again for trusting the energy of that ad you saw enough to join and come and check me out. So let me check for comments, and if there are none, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here, thanks for joining, and thanks for trusting the process.